There's a lot to unpack in the trailer for Us, the highly anticipated follow-up to Get Out, from writer-director Jordan Peele. Peele told Business Insider that Us is next in a series of 4 films he has planned, all of them social thrillers in the vein of Get Out. Pairing Lupita Nyong'o with Black Panther co-star Wilson Duke, this is sure to be one of the biggest horror films of 2019. So here's everything you might have missed in the trailer, from subtle references to major plot hints. In classic horror movie fashion, the trailer starts in suspiciously good spirits. Just like Get Out, the story looks like it might begin with a similar scenic car ride. It's the summertime, and Adelaide and Gabe Wilson are taking their kids to Adelaide's childhood beach home in Santa Cruz, a town in Northern California. The couple's son, Jason, is wearing a Jaws t-shirt, an homage to one of Peele's favorite monster movies, and a hint that this summer vacation might be doomed. Jason also has a mask on his head, which almost looks like a leather version of the hockey mask from Friday the 13th. The radio plays the Bay Area hip-hop classic I Got 5 on it, a nod to the Bay Area where Us takes place. Adelaide tells Jason to get in the rhythm, but she herself seems to be snapping off the beat.
Get in rhythm.
As the lyrics echo "creep on it," an overhead shot shows the family being trailed by their shadows, a sneak peek for what's to come. First, the couple meets up with their old friends, the Tylers, played by Elizabeth Moss and Tim Heidecker, and the family jokes about their dad's new boat, which he calls the Crab Daddy. Then Jason wanders off. We get another bit of foreshadowing with the "Find Yourself" sign in the distance, luring him into danger. And then there it is, a shadowy, scarecrow-like figure with 2 bloody fingers. It doesn't take long for Adelaide to panic at her son's disappearance.
Jason! Where were you?
We know from the movie's synopsis that Adelaide is haunted by a past trauma. Perhaps it involved the disappearance of a loved one? As night falls, the song's beat gets warped and slowed down for a brilliantly creepy effect. That's when 4 figures wearing red jumpsuits appear at the end of the Wilsons' driveway. First, Gabe tries to act macho. Winston Duke has hinted that this character's impulsive alpha nature is a source of conflict in the Wilsons' marriage. Despite Wade's valiant front, the strangers advance. This is where we get to the big twist. Each of the intruders sets out to torment their exact double in the Wilson family. They're climbing, crawling, scissor-wielding lookalikes of the Wilsons. Peele has said that the monsters in Us are called the Tethered, so the Wilsons' doppelgangers are attached to them in some way, and they want to sever that attachment. Here we see the reason for the movie's title. One unsettling detail, this pair of giant gold shears in the Wilsons' house. These scissors are supposedly the murder weapon of the Tethered, so why would they be in the family's doorway before Wade's double had gotten through the front door? Is one of the Wilsons an imposter, or did someone else place the weapon there? And what's up with this little girl? She's too small to be the daughter's direct doppelganger. Based on her throwback thriller tee, this could be Adelaide's younger self, haunting her from the past, especially if her unresolved trauma took place at the beach house when she was a kid. What's clear is that the Wilsons' doubles aren't the only ones disturbing the peace. These interlocked hands belong to white people, the evil doubles of the Tyler family, perhaps. Next, we see one of the Tethered running with scissors in what looks to be a school, possibly one that young Adelaide attended. To make things even weirder, everyone in the hall seems indifferent to the creepy things going on. This may suggest the story is partly taking place in the past, or that it's been in their heads the whole time. But if the Tethered are real, one thing is clear.
They won't stop until they kill us.
In fiction, doppelgangers are typically known as harbingers of death, often because their motive is to kill you and take your place. Mrs. Tyler seems to face a similar danger, as she's shown in a few shots trying to escape a member of the Tethered. Notice that the visitors all wear fingerless driving gloves only on their right hands for reasons unknown. Adelaide wears something on her hand too, a gold chain from a pair of handcuffs she seems to have separated somehow. As for Jason, he's shown actually sitting face to face with his Tethered, and the boy lifts his cloth mask to reveal some serious burn scars around the mouth. In a way, the scarring reminds us of the statue we see in the Wilsons' doorway earlier in the clip. The fact that Jason started out wearing a mask adds to the confusion. Notice that as everything descends into chaos, Jason's mask gets lower and lower on his face. The distinction between the good guys and the bad guys may become less and less clear throughout the film. In the middle of all this turmoil, Peele provides some much-needed comic relief with the writing on Wade's boat, which reads, "Biatch." Given the amount of damage we see being done to cars, maybe the family boat will end up being the route of escape. Or maybe that'll serve as the transportation for the bad guys, as it did in Funny Games. one of the films that Peele had Lupita watch in preparation for Us. So what's with all these bunnies hopping around? The scenes in the hallway match up with other flashes of rabbit imagery in the trailer. It's worth noting that Peele has referenced rabbits before. One of the first songs played in Get Out was Flanagan and Allen's Run Rabbit Run. The rabbit has a long history in horror movies, partly because they're crepuscular animals, most active in the twilight hours of both sunrise and sunset, so they're paradoxically associated with both light and darkness, fitting into the theme of duality that Peele is playing with. Plus, rabbits sleep in burrows that they dig, down the rabbit hole as they say, which seems to be where the Wilsons are heading as the madness escalates. Rabbits are also one of the species to have been successfully cloned, which is what might be happening in this classroom experiment. But then the clones come out of their cages, just as the doppelgangers are on the loose. The carnage continues, and we see bodies scattered on the ground everywhere. Aha, and we finally see the shot shown in one of the movie posters. But what's the meaning behind the ubiquitous scissors? For one, they're everyday household tools, but oversized and vaguely surgical looking. That goes along with the mixing of the familiar with the unfamiliar, something we know Peele does to an unsettling effect. Scissors also consist of two parts, joined into a whole. They need both parts to work, and that's why they stay fastened together. This doubles concept is reinforced with a whole lot of shadows, mirrors, shattering glass, and refractions of light. Then Peele gives us this sinister spin on paper chains. These paper dolls, cut with scissors, represent multiple copies of one person, reinforcing the concept of false identities. Here, Adelaide's evil twin is trying to rip the figures apart, severing the bond between them. The doll's shape, and that of the linked stick figures on the chalkboard, resembles the silhouettes of the tethered, standing hand in hand. Also notice the hand paintings on the wall, and how they match the handprint on Adelaide's clothes. Another innocent art project that will never quite look at the same. We can't help but notice a whole lot of V-shapes, resembling the ears of a rabbit or an open pair of shears. This could be strictly stylistic, or the V could stand for something, like versus or vendetta, if the doubles are seeking revenge. The amount of hand imagery points us to the Roman numeral 5, hence I got 5 on it, but the exact significance of this number remains to be seen. Finally, the clip closes with this ink blot of Adelaide and Gabe. Their profiles, back to back, match the two heads of Adelaide in the teaser poster for the film, and the top of the scissors in the other poster. The inked artwork echoes the watercolor-esque stains on Adelaide's shirt and the overalls of one of the untethered. Notice, also, the different rabbit forms you can make out in the ink. If you look closely, you'll see these hidden forms in the text cards throughout the trailer. It's all done in the style of a Rorschach, a psychological test that's supposed to reflect the workings of your unconscious mind. This subliminal imagery makes sense for Peele, who's spoken of his interest in tackling the fears of the collective unconscious. You'll also see here the movie's title has been written twice, the second time over the original. It's getting at that idea of replacement, overwriting the original Wilsons with their lookalikes. Peele tweeted the Us poster with the caption, "Watch yourself." After watching this trailer, we're starting to think he meant that literally. For now, all we can do is wait for March 15th, when Us drops in theaters. This time, instead of teacups and sunken places, it'll be white rabbits and giant scissors fueling our nightmares. We couldn't be more excited.